It's the last week of August. It's 90 degrees outside. There's hardly a cloud in the sky. Why not go ahead and use this time to get into the beehives? Last time I was in the hive, I left my smoker sitting right here on the gravel driveway to cool off, right behind my wife's car, and then she ran it over. So now I got a brand new shiny one. The bees sure look active today, and there's been activity from all the hives, but this nuke down here, they look like maybe they're feeling a little crowded. It's noon and they're already just all over the outside trying to cool down. My goal today is simple: steal honey. Here in the first split that we made earlier in the year, you can see I've got a pretty good bunch of bees, but I'm not finding very much honey. And what honey there is that is capped is in the bottom and middle brood box. And so it's got brood on one side and capped honey on the other. So that's a no-go. And then up here in what was supposed to be the honey super, I even tried using an excluder for the first time this year. I've got very little at all. So despite seeing all the activity that's been in these hives, it looks like we may end up with what we expected to get. We had one hive at the beginning of the year, and we split that out into 3 different hives, and we told ourselves and mentioned back on video way back then that it probably meant we wouldn't get any honey this year, and it's starting to look like that's true. So with 2 hives down and not a single frame of honey pulled, you might well be asking yourself, why did I even come in the hives if I knew that after splitting it twice and now having 3 hives that we might not get any honey? Well, it's because I saw this. We're already starting to see goldenrod bloom in our area. I'm sure most of the country's already seen it. Here in the south, things, we get things early in the spring, and then the things you see first in the fall up north, we see last. So where you may have already seen a lot of goldenrod up north, we're just now starting to see it here, which to me is a signal to say, okay, the last of the most plentiful supplies for the bees is now in bloom. So that's a good time to come in here and see what I can rob from the hives, and then let them have whatever they harvest off the goldenrod and other things here as autumn starts. So the only hive left is the middle one, and so far, not a single frame. Well, what do we have here? So I went through the middle box and went all the way to the bottom, replaced out the hive beetle traps, and here in the 3rd brood chamber was slam packed with honey. Slam packed. I think maybe 2 frames out of that were still being filled in. So I took 8 frames out of there. So, no, excuse me. I took, see, altogether, I ended up getting 7. So that means I took 5 out of here, 6 out of here, 6 out of here, and 1 out of the top. And then what I did is I took the ones from the top and filled in this one. And now I'm going to put this one back on top, go spin the frames, and bring them back. And that way I could just set all the frames I spun back on top, so I don't have to dig back down into the hive. So look at there. We got 7 frames after all, and plenty of honey still in here. Down in the bottom, there's some frames that have honey and brood. Up here, we've got frames that are 3/4 of a way to, or half to 3/4 of a way full, and same over here. So these aren't bare bones frames. They just don't have enough honey. They're not capped to bring them inside. Well, everybody, the good news is we ended up getting 23 pounds of honey off of this hive alone, and there's still honey in here like I told you before. So now all I'm going to do is put some of these frames back in here. I'm just going to find the ones that look the best, the ones where the comb looks the best. Look at those darn bees. You see them hanging? They're already trying to make comb where I don't have frames in here. So I'm just going to put these frames back in here, the ones that look the best, so it's easiest for the bees to just come on in and fill them, and don't have to wait for them to draw out comb. And we probably won't come back into here until probably for another month. Not right before it starts getting super cold here, cold for us, but enough time to come in here and make an evaluation, find out how much of the hive the bees are actually using, so we can take off any supers that we need to and bring that hive down to a smaller bunch before winter sets in. So that's all we're going to do. We're really excited that we even got 23 pounds out of this thing, especially after hitting 2 hives that didn't have anything in them. That was a pretty awesome score. So thank you all so much for watching. I know we haven't done very many bee videos this year. How many times do I have to tell you I hate the heat? But we did get in the hive a lot more this year than we did last year, and I think we're seeing the benefit of that. I think our bees are going to go into winter a lot stronger. We should have 3 strong colonies next spring rather than having to start all over with 1. So thanks to all of our patrons who make all of our videos possible and support all of the projects that we do here on the homestead, and thanks to each of you who take the time to watch and share the videos. If you do something special for your bees, I know there's a lot of controversy out there about whether you feed them or if you treat them or whatever you do. Go ahead and share it down below. I really don't care what way you go. I would care if you were local. If you live where I live and you're telling me you're using sugar water to keep your bees fed through winter, I'm going to tell you you're doing something wrong, because I know just how much honey the bees can make and how warm the climate is and all those kind of things. But if you tell me you live in Canada and you're feeding your bees, I'm probably not going to give you a hard time. But I don't know. It's up to you. You tell me what you think and why you do it the way you do. I'm not here to tell you the right or wrong way. I'm just here to show you the way I do it. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.